Inside a silent metro station, a terrified security guard runs through the empty halls and hides inside a small control room. Moments later, every cabinet around him creaks open one by one. Each cabinet door reveals a huge mirror inside, shining even in the dark. The guard steps closer to one of the mirrors. Suddenly, a thin crack forms across the glass, then spreads like a spiderweb. Panicking, he begs, "Please, let me go!" But the mirror only shatters at the corner, dropping a small shard on the floor. He bends down to pick it up and freezes. His reflection doesn't move. It stands upright inside the mirror, staring at him with pure rage. The guard starts crying in fear, and then the nightmare begins. The reflection lifts the same glass shard and cuts its own throat. At that exact moment, the guard's real throat slices open on its own. He collapses to the floor and dies within seconds. The scene shifts to a suspended detective named Ben. Ben now lives with his sister Angela after his drinking problem ruined his career and marriage. He finally finds a job as a night security guard at a massive store called Mayflower. The place burned down in a huge fire 5 years earlier and has been abandoned ever since. The inside is huge, dark, and silent. What surprises Ben the most is the mirrors. Hundreds of giant mirrors lined up everywhere. Despite the place being old and dusty, all the mirrors look perfectly clean. When Ben asks the manager why, the man gives a strange answer. The guard before you, Gary, he cleaned them all day like a madman. Ben feels uneasy. Ben visits his wife Amy, a nurse, and their 2 kids, Michael and Daisy. He tries to reconnect, even though the family is still hurt by his past. The next night, Ben starts his first shift. While checking the showroom, Ben notices a handprint on one of the mirrors. He tries wiping it off, but it won't go away. Suddenly, dozens of handprints spread across the entire mirror surface. Shocked, he steps back. In the mirror, he notices a door behind him standing open, but when he turns around in real life, the door is closed. Confused, he opens it himself and finds a huge basement filled with standing water. The next morning, Ben looks into the mirror at home and sees his reflection slightly distorted, as if his face is bending out of shape. That night at work, another handprint appears on the mirror. When Ben touches it, cracks shoot across the glass. The mirror slices his palm and blood drips down. Then he sees it, a girl burning alive inside the mirror, flames spreading toward him. His clothes suddenly catch fire and he falls screaming to the floor. But in an instant, everything resets. The fire disappears. The mirror is perfect again. Ben convinces himself it must have been a hallucination. Then he finds Gary's wallet on the floor. Inside it, one word written on paper, Esser. Suddenly, a girl's scream echoes across the showroom. Ben follows the sound into a room and sees a girl inside the mirror begging for help. He searches the room, but there's no one there. Only her reflection continues screaming as her body burns. Meanwhile, at home, Michael sees the same burning girl in his bedroom mirror. Terrified, he hides under his blanket. The next day, Ben receives a package, sent by Gary before he died. Inside are newspaper clippings about the Mayflower fire. Ben rushes to the hospital morgue with Amy's help. There he finds Gary's corpse, throat slashed, just like the guard in the opening scene. A reflection flickers in a metal cabinet window, showing the same horrific death again. Ben realizes the man from the beginning was Gary. Meanwhile, Angela gets ready for a bath. She steps away from her bathroom mirror, but her reflection does not follow. It keeps staring at her. Then, inside the mirror world, Angela's reflection grabs its own jaw and pulls. Its face splits open, blood pouring out. And at the same moment, Angela's real face tears apart the same way. She screams in agony as blood covers the bathroom floor. Within minutes, she dies. When Ben returns and sees her body, he breaks down in uncontrollable grief. He knows the mirrors did this. That night, Ben shoots directly at a showroom mirror, shouting, "Why are you doing this?" The bullet holes repair themselves instantly. Words slowly appear on the glass. Esser. Ben searches everywhere for this name, but finds nothing. He begins investigating Terrence Berry, the man who set the Mayflower fire 5 years earlier. Before he died, Terrence was kept in a mental hospital. Ben watches an old recording where Terrence confesses, "The mirrors killed my family because I couldn't find Esser." Terrence had set the fire to destroy the mirrors. Ben realizes, if the mirrors don't find Esser, they will kill his family next. Frightened, Ben rushes home and starts painting over every mirror. Amy thinks he's lost his mind. When he tries to show her how the mirrors heal themselves, nothing happens. To her, the mirror is just broken glass. The kids watch in fear. They think their father has gone crazy. Ben leaves before things get worse. Back at Mayflower, Ben finds a wall in the basement with faded letters. St. Matthew's Hospital. He breaks the wall open and discovers a small mirrored chamber with a chair bolted in the center. Now he understands. Mayflower was built on top of an old mental hospital. Ben digs into hospital records and learns the truth. Esser was a 12-year-old patient at St. Matthew's. 5 years before the massacre, the hospital had used a strange treatment. They locked schizophrenic children in mirrored rooms so they could see their own madness. In a flashback, Esser sits strapped to a chair inside a room of mirrors. The reflections flicker and warp. A dark presence crawls through the glass. The entity leaves her body and traps itself inside the mirrors. Doctors thought her treatment worked. They were wrong. Soon after, patients started killing each other. Many committed suicide. One doctor slit his wrists with mirror shards. Esser died during the chaos. But later, Ben learns she didn't die. She was released 2 days before the massacre. Her family, terrified of her violent behavior, sent her away to a monastery. Ben travels to a small village in Pennsylvania. Esser's brother reveals she suffered severe schizophrenia and hallucinations. After treatment at St. Matthew's, she improved, but terrifying incidents continued at home. To protect her, the family sent her to St. Augustine's monastery. Ben races to the monastery. There, he finds Esser, now a calm Christian nun. He tells her everything. She listens quietly and says, "You misunderstand. The mirrors aren't looking for me. Something inside the mirrors is looking for its host. That host used to be me." The entity escaped her body during treatment and has been trapped inside the mirrors ever since. As long as Esser stays away, the demon can't return to the real world. But anyone who sees themselves in those mirrors becomes a target. Ben pleads with her to return to the showroom to save his family. She refuses. Desperate, Ben pulls a gun. Terrified, Esser finally agrees. Meanwhile, at home, Michael wakes up and sees his reflection in the doorknob. Instantly, he becomes possessed. Amy wakes later to find water all over the house. All faucets are running. Someone has scraped the paint off every mirror. In the bathroom sink, a demonic reflection of Michael appears and tries to drown her. She breaks free, gasping for air. Moments later, Daisy sees a twisted reflection of her mother trying to cut her throat with scissors. Amy rescues her just in time. Amy warns Daisy, no matter what happens, don't go into that flooded room. She then finds Michael acting strange, scratching the mirror paint off the walls. His reflection taunts her through the water. "Catch me if you can." His real body slashes her face with a knife. Blood pours down her cheek. A dark force drags Michael underwater. Amy tries desperately to save him, but fails. He vanishes into the mirror world. Ben takes Esser into the old mirrored chamber at Mayflower. He straps her into the chair and steps out. Slowly, Esser begins to convulse. The mirrors tremble. One by one, every mirror in the showroom shatters at the same time. At home, Michael suddenly reappears from the flood, unharmed. Ben returns to the chamber. All mirrors are gone. Esser has transformed, fully possessed. She attacks Ben, dragging him into the basement. They fight brutally among broken pipes. Gas leaks everywhere. Ben fires his gun, triggering an explosion. The basement collapses on top of Esser. Ben tries to escape, but the ceiling falls and crushes him. The next morning, Ben wakes up, covered in dust, but alive. He walks outside where police, firefighters, and paramedics rush around, but no one sees him. Not his manager, not the investigators, not anyone. Then he notices something else. Every sign, every word around him is written backward, like a reflection. He looks for his own shadow. There is none. He realizes the truth. He is trapped inside the mirror dimension. In the real world, on one broken mirror, a single bloody handprint appears. It's Ben, trying to escape. And the movie ends. Ben died when the showroom collapsed. His soul entered the mirror world, just like all the others who were cursed by those mirrors. Only people who looked into the cursed mirrors and were marked by them end up trapped after death. Ben saw himself in that mirror long ago, so his fate was sealed.